So for this lesson, we're going to be looking at how you can multiply two binomials together to get a trinomial. So here we have a binomial times another binomial, binomial being two terms, so two terms times another polynomial that's two terms, so another binomial. And in grade 9, you were looking at this with algebra tiles. So on the top, if I was multiplying c plus 5 together, you would put a c and then your three ones. Sorry, this is your c plus 3. So your c and your three ones units. And then on your side here, you would put the c plus 5. So there you fill it in like that. Then you would say, okay, fitting these two c's together makes a c squared. This 1 times the c gives you a c, 1 times c gives you another c, and so on, and you would fill it in. And there's what you would get. You would get a c squared, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 c's, and another 3 c's, and then you would have 15 of these ones units altogether. So when you wrote your answer, you would say, when I multiply c plus 3 times c plus 5, you get c squared, plus I had 8 c's, and then I had 15 of the ones blocks. And that's how you would write your answer, and that's how you did it with algebra tiles last year in grade 9. So that's a quick review. All right, so here's another method very similar to algebra tiles. You're still dealing with constructing rectangles, but it takes the algebra tiles out of the picture, and we're going to show multiplying h plus 11 times h plus 5. So here's what you do. You set up your rectangle. On the top, I put my h and my 11, and down the sides, I put my h and my 5, the same as before. Here's the difference. I don't actually have to put the algebra tiles in this time. For this particular block here, I have an h times another h. So say h times h is going to give me h squared. For this block here, I have 5 times h. So 5 times h is going to give me 5h. On the top, I have h times 11. So that's going to give me 11h here. And for this last rectangle, I have 5 and 11. So I go 5 times 11, which gives me 55. So now I have these four terms all together that make up the answer to h plus 11 times h plus 5. So there they are. I have an h squared, a 5h, an 11h, and a 55. Now, something you should recall from last year is combining like terms. So I have just the one squared term here, so I don't have anything to combine it with, but I have two terms that have h with just the exponent of 1, and remembering that they don't show the exponent of 1. So I have 5h plus 11h, so you can combine these two as 16h, and 55 is a term all by itself. So there's my answer. When I combine the terms, I get h squared plus 16h because I can combine these two plus 55. So there's another visual representation of how you can multiply a binomial times a binomial. We'll be learning now how to do it using the distributive property, and the visual references go away at that point. Okay, so for here, we're going to show how we can do this time without drawing our picture. So I write down my h plus 11 times h plus 5. There, remember, there's the answer that we got from our area model on the last slide. It was h squared plus h, 5h plus 11h plus 55. So how can we do this without a picture using the distributive property? Well, here's how it's done. I take the first term in the first bracket and multiply it by the first term in the second bracket. So h times h, which you know is h squared. Then I take the first term and multiply it by the second term in the second bracket. So basically what I've done so far is taken the first thing I see in the first bracket and multiply it by everything that I see in the second bracket, which was h and 5. So h times 5 gives me 5h. Now, I've multiplied h by everything in this second bracket, so now I have to go to the next term in my first bracket, which is 11, and I'm going to end up multiplying it by everything in this bracket. So the first thing to do is 11 times h, which gives you 11h. Then I have 11 times 5, which is going to give you 55. And so there's a summary of everything we've done. We've taken the first term here, multiplied it by everything in the second bracket. Then we've taken the second term and multiplied it by everything in the second bracket. And you get the same answer. So you still have to finish this the same as before. And when I teach it in grade 9, I always said, we worked with different colors. I said anytime I've got two like terms, I underline them so that I know when to combine them. H squared is the only squared term, 55 is the only plain number, so then my final answer again is h squared plus, this gives me 16h plus 55. Okay, so let's try a couple of examples here. We're going to use the distributive property to figure these out, and then we'll see how that works. All right. So the first one, I'm going to take my x and multiply it by this x. So the first term here, I'm going to multiply it by both terms in the second bracket. So first I go x times x. That gives me x squared. Then I have the next term in the second bracket is 2. So I go x times 2. So that's 2x. Now I've multiplied the first term here by everything in the second bracket. So I move on to the next term, which is a subtract 4 or negative 4. So negative 4 times x, well, that gives me negative 4x, or subtract 4x. Then I have negative 4 times 2, and last term times this, so negative 4 times 2, which gives me negative 8. Again, I want to combine anything that's a like term. A 2x and a negative 4x that are alike. So I can combine those, and I get my final answer of x squared minus 2x minus 8. All right, we'll try one more. So even though the two binomials here are not set up with the variable first like they are here, the method still stays the same. I still take the first term in the first bracket, and I'm going to multiply it by each of the terms, or every term, that I see in the second bracket. So first I'm going to do 8 times 3, which gives me 24. And then 8 times negative b, so that'll give me negative 8b. Now, again, the second term times everything in the second bracket, so I'm going to do this next. So negative b times 3 gives me negative 3b. And then a negative b times a negative b gives you a positive b squared. So you're remembering that a negative times a negative always gives you a positive. We combine our like terms. So again, the only thing that are like are the ones with the exponents of 1 here. I don't have any other squared terms or any other lone numbers. So then I can say my answer is 24, negative 8 and a negative 3 gives me negative 11b, and then plus a b squared. So there's your final answer. Now just a note for this final answer, if you were, say, to look in the back of the math textbook to see did I get the answer right, or you're looking at some type of answer key, probably wouldn't be written in this order. So at first you might glance at it and say, well, I didn't get it right. But convention usually has the variable with the highest exponent written first, and then the next term with the highest ordered variable, and so on. So usually you would see this answer with the squared variable first, so your b squared, and then I've got this negative 11b, and then finally I have the number by itself, which is a positive 24. So you're more likely to see an answer key with the answer written in that order, and that's the convention in math that we usually use when writing a final answer with variables. So next, you should try this question on your own, right here, and see whether you can get it. So just at this point, pause the video, try these two questions, and then after you've tried them, just click play again, and I'm going to bring the answer up. And so then you can see whether you get the answer right or not. Okay, so go ahead and pause it now, and I'll wait a second so that you can get that pause, and then I'll pop the answer up and we'll end the video there. Okay, so there are your answers. Just check to make sure that you're getting this right. And as I said in the previous video, this answer to B, in their answer key, they have it written in this order. More typical ones would have it written like this. Okay, so we'll end this video here.